Welcome to Basketballheadzz Live. I'm your host, Glenn Poole Harding. And tonight, we have a very special guest. This basketball head is our Archbishop Molloy Great. Like other Molloy Greats who have graced this platform, like Kenny Anderson, New York City legend, Jason Alexander, Adolphus Gaffney, LaRon Mapp, Bobby Moran, and my guy, Ralph James. This basketball head was an all-city performer who went on to star at Holy Cross College and became one of their top scorers of all time with 1,492 points and a record-setting 292 steals, 222 three-pointers made, and 308 assists. So you know he was out there repping New York City to the fullest. He was named All-Patriot League 2004, 2005, and 2006. Patriot League Player of the Year in 2005, as well as Defensive Player of the Year in 2006. This basketball head was a three-time Patriot League All-Tournament team. When it was all said and done, he became a Hall of Fame inductee for Holy Cross College. After his amazing college career, he went over to play, in the summer league. That's why I have this green on, for the legendary Boston Celtics. Then after that, he took his talents over to Europe and then enjoyed a 10-year career as a pro ball player in Puerto Rico. Now, you can catch him on the sidelines as head coach of the 2022 Brooklyn champs, Eagle Academy, getting ready for the playoff and lead his team, hopefully, brother, to a city and state championship. So, without further ado, help me welcome to the show, Archbishop Molloy Great, Holy Cross College Hall of Fame inductee and head coach of Eagle Academy in Brooklyn, Coach Kevin Hampton Jr.
Y'all ready? Yes. You have just stepped out into the world of chaos, where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
What's going on? How you doing?
Oh, man. Bless the highly favored, fam. I can't complain, man. I'm on here with you, man, so I'm feeling good, man.
Appreciate you for having me on.
Nah. It's long overdue. Watch you coach for a few years now. I'm really connected to your school in sort of a kind of way because my older cousin, Zachary Husser, God rest his soul, he was the consultant for you guys' schools and was very close to your founder, Mr. David Banks.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So definitely much love for Eagle Academy and all the things guys do over there and females for the young brothers coming up, man. So definitely most needed for sure.
Appreciate that.
No doubt, man. How you doing today, man? You good?
I'm good, man. I'm trying to concentrate over here. I got a new puppy. This guy's trying to get my attention, so I'm trying to get locked in and get along with this interview.
Now, isn't that crazy, right? One of my best friends, Kevin Jenkins, he just got a new puppy as well, and we were just talking about how they understand what we saying, but we can't understand them. We understand their actions, right? But we can't really, understand how they communicate to us, but they actually understand what we're saying to them.
That is a fact.
which is crazy, man. So I want to jump right into this, man. Who introduced you to the game?
My father. My father played. He went to the college of Iona College. He's actually a Hall of Famer there. And you know, from my earliest days, I remember him playing in the park. We used to live in Jamaica, Rufus King houses in Jamaica when I was really young. And you know, just seeing him play in the park, the respect that he would get walking around in the streets from people that recognized him as a basketball player. Watching his old game film, stuff like that. So my father was like my first real introduction.
Salute to dad, man. So it's a special thing when, you know, our dads can introduce us to the game and kind of guide us through, especially if they did it. It's kind of easier. I have my guy, DJ Superstar Jay, and he was just talking about how he didn't have that, right? And he wished he did. So I always take my hat off to you guys who come on and who dads are, you know, been instrumental in you guys' lives.
Right. No, I appreciate that.
For sure. Salute to my guy, DJ Superstar Jay, doing it big on Sirius XM.
Definitely.
He actually played for Jackson, so he's a ball player too, right? So,
I heard. I saw some of that interview. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's all connected, bro. What? Yeah. Right. You say you from what part of Queens again?
So I'm from Queens Village. By the time I was 6 years old, my family moved to Queens Village. But before that, you know, I lived in Jamaica, in Rufus King in Jamaica for a little while.
Okay, cool. And what park did you hone your skills at?
I used to play at PS 18, Jamaica Park on Francis Lewis. Yeah, those are the main two parks I'll be at most of the time.
Okay. And at what age you say you definitely fell in love with the game?
By middle school, I was all in. You know, coming from the neighborhoods that we come from, you know, that's all there is to do. This is before cell phones and all that stuff. So, you know, I just fell in love with the game early. I was watching DVDs, whether it was Soul in the Hole or things like that. Every day I'd come back from school. If I had opportunity to go play in the park, I'd do that. So, I mean, once I got into middle school, I kind of knew what I wanted to be, what I wanted to do.
And we're going to go back to those basketball movies. Just keep in mind, right?
Definitely.
Just keep in mind, get them up in your head now, but we're going to return to those later on in the interview.
All right.
All right. So, who was the best player in your neighborhood?
In my neighborhood? Well, actually, like I mentioned, when I was really young, I lived in Jamaica. In my building, there was Jamal Robinson, and him and his brother used to babysit me. So that's another big influence of mine coming up, was watching Jamal and the notoriety that he got from going from McClancy all the way to Virginia and all those things.
So hold on, time out. So my guy, Jamal Robinson, right, McClancy Great, right? He was your babysitter coming up?
Yeah, we lived in the same building. His father and my father were really cool. I mean, yeah, it's like my OG.
That's dope, man. He's definitely friend of the show and cool brother, man. So
absolutely.
Listen, bro, you had a lot of good basketball around you, man. So no wonder you turned out the way you did.
Yeah, I definitely did. I was fortunate.
Salute to my guy, Jamal Robinson. Where's he at now? Is he still in South?
He's at LaSalle. Yeah, he's assistant coach over there.
That's right. Got my guy Khalil Brantley over there, man. So definitely holding tight to him. That's good. City guy taking care of another city guy. It's all good. Yep. So when you was watching TV coming up and you was watching those games, who was you mainly watching? Who you had your eyes on coming up in the NBA?
NBA?
Yes.
I mean, of course, MJ. That was my first favorite player. When he left, I started following Kobe a lot. You know, I heard all the stories about Kobe's work ethic and how he approached the game. I was always impressed by that. You know, held him in high regard. I liked Ray Allen a lot. I like Chauncey Billups. Chauncey Billups is probably my favorite out of all of them.
Listen, all those guys, rest in peace to the Mamba, right? Salute to Michael Jordan, Ray Allen as well. But how special was Chauncey Billups? He's one of the guys that really get talked about, right?
Yeah.
How
definitely.
special was he to you, brother?
Big time. You know, I was, you know, I'm sure we'll get to my career at some point, but I was really short up until like my junior year in high school. I was never really athletic. I wasn't a high flyer. So I always have respect for players who didn't have like all these athletic abilities and they just, were cerebral or great shooters or something that put them over the top, like with skills. Chauncey Billups, obviously he was the MVP of the finals that year, but he went to 8 straight conference finals, which I thought was ridiculous and shows what type of leader he was, and so I was always impressed with him. He was a big shot making dude.
When the game was on the line, give that ball to Chauncey Billups, he gonna make something happen.
That's a fact.
For sure, for sure. So let's talk about your adjustments coming from junior high school to high school and what made you choose Molloy as a school that you wanted to be a part of.
So, to be honest, it was a friend of mine named Stephon Cherry, was a really highly recruited middle school player. And we used to he was like my best friend in middle school. We used to sleep in my house all the time. He was like 6'4" already, and he had ball handling skills and stuff like that. But we played on the same CYO and AAU teams, so we were kind of like he was way more highly touted than I was coming out of middle school. But we always knew we were gonna go to the same school together. And so we did, a lot of visits to a lot of high schools. We went to Holy Cross, Christ the King, stuff like that. Molloy and Holy Cross, I'd say, were the 2 schools that I felt showed genuine interest in both of us, and not just Steph. And so, just sitting in Coach Curran's office, having a conversation with a guy who's a legendary coach, a guy that helped out a lot.
Arguably, one of the best coaches in New York City history. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
salute to Coach
sure.
Jack Curran, and rest in peace as well.
Right, definitely. So, yeah, being in that man's office and hearing, like the comparables that he had for me and Steph and the vision that he had for us, it was hard to turn down that situation.
This man has so much knowledge, so much wisdom. And when I had Kenny Anderson on early on last year, maybe 2 years ago, when I first started the platform, we just talked because we met up up at Glen Falls, right? And the fact that Kenny didn't play his first year, the first quarter, right? He played varsity, but he didn't play the first quarter, right? And I think Kenny Smith is the only person that kind of started and played all quarters, but Kenny was a little bit different.
Yeah.
And he said he respected his coach for making that decision when he was a youngster. Most guys would be kind of mad, have some kind of issues with their coach because they feel like their coach is holding them back. But just hearing Kenny talk about y'all coach the way he did and understanding why he did it, it just says a lot about y'all coach and the relationship you guys had, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Coach Curran was a lot about life lessons, something that I try to transfer over to the kids that I work with now. And he didn't really play underclassmen. You had to be special. And obviously Kenny Anderson was one of those guys. But yeah, Coach Curran was a great mentor to me, great coach. I was very fortunate to play for him.
Salute, man. Salute to Coach Curran. So did you go through the process, freshman, JV team, then varsity?
Yeah, I went through every step. Like I mentioned, I was a really small, skinny kid. Good enough to get on the court, but I wasn't like highly touted like some of the other guys that came through the program. We won actually a JV city championship. I don't even know what year that was. Sometime in the late '90s. But yeah, I went through every step, which is rare for like good players in the city.
Yes, because usually they move them up real quick. But look, you was at a special school, and coach didn't play,
Yeah.
those guys just because you had a name or just because you felt you were special. That didn't just happen at Molloy like that. Everybody who I know earned their way.
Yeah, for sure.
So when did you start to come into your own, right? When did you start to come into your own, and what year did you actually grow, to the size that you were able to do what you needed to do in high school?
So I'd say towards the middle of my junior year to the beginning of my senior year is when things kind of turned around for me. I didn't play that much early on, but between that time I also grew like 8 inches. So yeah, it was crazy. It was a crazy growth spurt, and I was playing, on the ball as a one most of the time. So obviously, when you grow 8 inches throughout that period, the game becomes a lot easier.
You still got that handle. You still got
Yeah,
that jump shot. You bring a lot of those skills with you. I went through the same thing my freshman year, being 5'8", then growing to 6'5" the next year.
yeah,
So you bring all of those skills with you.
yeah.
How awkward did it feel growing so many inches?
I mean, I had like a bunch of knee pain when I was in high school. The biggest thing is, I didn't really have no clothes, and that was the biggest issue at the time. But I mean, I just during that growth spurt, I got a whole different level of confidence in my game. And then, that summer when I was able to play, obviously the AAU circuit, uh, like went from a kid that was averaging 13 points or whatever, 14 points to averaging 26 over the summer.
Woo.
So my recruitment went from 0 to 100 before my senior year even started. So I was receiving, Division I offers before I came back to school for my senior year. And my junior year, I only averaged like 5 points a game. So it was a real strange process.
I think kids need to understand that, right? Because a lot of them want microwave success. They want it instant. A lot of them don't want to work to get to that point. And I think a lot of times when you work and you earn it and it comes later on, you cherish it a little bit more.
For sure.
I'm going to go back to what my guy, DJ Superstar Jay, said last night. He said, G, I wish I wasn't as highly touted as a freshman as I was. It came
Yeah.
too soon. And when it comes too soon, you don't work hard. Sometimes hard works beat talent when talent don't work hard.
Yeah, every time. And, honestly, that's something I think that hurts New York City kids specifically. Because if you come up through the scene and you're, everybody's, every high school team wants you, every middle school team wants you, every AAU program wants you, they sometimes accept stuff that shouldn't be accepted from a player. They don't get held accountable to the level that they should be, and it may not, it may work out for them in their high school careers, but at some point that catches up with everybody. So, yeah, I was fortunate, and I was actually talking to one of my guys on my staff, Gino Lawrence, about he was in a similar situation coming up too, not being as highly touted, and the benefits that come from that, because you learn to work and you learn not to be enamored with the noise and the hype and stuff like that, and just do what you love, and that makes the process of working harder and being consistent easier.
Yeah, man. Look, I hear a lot of coaches holding letters from players and not letting them see their success too early. Was Coach Jack Curran like that? Did he give you your letters when they came in, or there was a process to that?
There was a process to what?
To the letters coming in, your college letters. Remember you said
Oh,
over that summer, you started to
yeah,
pick up in your recruitment,
yeah.
started to pick up because you grew. You had a great summer average of 26. When those letters started to come in, did he give them to you? How was that process?
So what's interesting is that, like, through that I didn't really speak to Coach Curran through that my recruitment process. That it was going on with the summer. My father was heavily involved with it. My AU coaches, and I committed to Holy Cross. I went on an unofficial visit September 13th. I remember that because 2 days earlier the was the towers, and Coach Curran found out that I committed to Holy Cross in the paper, in the
Mm.
newspaper. He didn't even know. And then that day when he found out, he called me into the office and he was like, "Hey, you got to talk to me about this stuff." And then he pulled out a box from behind his desk of all these letters of schools that I didn't even know were recruiting me. So, mid-majors, St. Louis. I remember St. Louis and Arkansas, Little Rock and stuff like that being in there. So there was a bunch of a bunch of schools that I hadn't even known were interested, but I had already made my decision.
That's a funny dynamic. The good thing is you had your dad and your AAU coaches involved, right?
Yeah.
So just imagine they weren't involved. You made that choice on your own without any guidance, and then coach come with all these letters and like, yo, look.
Right. Yeah.
Now maybe they came over the summer. Who knows? Or maybe they was coming before that. we will never know. But it's always a thing to discuss with coaches to feel how they handle that process. Now, I know things a little differently now because you have text and all of those things now that coaches can do. How do you handle that for your players?
I could do it on a base. Well, obviously, for my kids, I do a lot of outreach to schools that I feel like they could potentially play for. But a lot, it's split. There's AAU programs that they play for handle a lot of recruitment as well. I'm really as involved as my kid wants me to be. You know what I'm saying? Before, as the process gets started, I've spoken to a bunch of kids. I'm going to speak to one tomorrow, actually, and more as time goes on. But just like, I want to be more of like an advisor with this. I don't want to be swaying you to make a decision any way or another. Just trying to like inform you the things that you should be looking at, things that, you need to consider when you're making a decision like this, things to be looking for in a program, the type of questions to ask. And, I think that the kids, our thing with our program is not just about basketball. We really try to help them be like intelligent young men, be able to think for themselves. And, I want kids to be happy with their situation, but I want it to be their choice. So I'm just as involved as they want me to be, for real.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. I just want to take a moment for an announcement real quick. To everybody that's on the platform, I need everybody to go to my YouTube page and please subscribe. Please subscribe. It costs you nothing. All right. You check out some amazing games like Wagner versus Curtis, Campus Madness versus Will, and of course, Eagle Academy versus South Shore. You want to catch those highlights to that game. All right. And also, you get to check out the Glenn McMillan Tournament 50 and Over Championship League that was held down in the BRC with New York City legends Seth Marshall, Half Man, Half Amazing, Ephraim Whitehead, and Norman Juju Marbury. So please, if you haven't done it already, please go to the page and subscribe. The link is in the bio. And one more last announcement. I'd like to give a big shout out to my guy, Eric Hicks, a big supporter of the show. He hooked me up with a whole sweatsuit, man. A whole sweatsuit. My guy, Eric Hicks, has been a big supporter. I have a few of his trophies back here. We had a award ceremony my first year, and he hooked me up. So I will always show love to Eric Hicks, a big supporter of Basketballheadzz. So
I got
now
you
back to you, brother.
I got you on some Eagle gear next time we meet up.
I love it, man. I love it. I appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that. I told you I'm part of the extended family. Listen, my cousin Zach, before he passed away, he was doing a basketball show as well. He was doing a basketball podcast, and we lost him too soon. So I wanted to pick up the mantle and take it, the rest of the way, because I know he's looking down, being, proud of me right now, man. So this is special because he loved Eagle Academy. That's all he talked about. Yeah. So what was it like? You guys top 25, in the nation. What kind of pressure came with that, Coach? Because we don't hear about that now. Who's top 25 in the nation now from New York City?
Yeah. Hopefully us soon. A couple years, the next year, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, I didn't feel much pressure going into my senior. I was already situated in terms of what school I was going to. So I'm not sure if that played a factor into it. But, the team that you're mentioning, a bunch of us guys, we played AAU together for years. We played together since we were kids. We had great chemistry. We had a lot of Division I talent. We had, myself, Marlon Smith, who went to Penn State, Sundiata Gaines, who went to Georgia. But, I don't know if we were necessarily as talented as a lot of teams we played against every single night. At that time, Catholic League in New York City was the best league in the country. But we played really well together. We played hard, and I'm thankful for that experience. We were really successful and had some good moments.
No doubt, man. Why did you choose Holy Cross? What made Holy Cross fit for you? What was it about the school that, feel like a hand in glove?
So, first off, they were like the first team to get started with my recruitment. They were the first letter I received. They were the first phone calls I got. There was a assistant coach, Sean Doherty, that I spoke to almost every day. And then you know, getting to meet Coach Willard, who's, you know, like a college basketball legend. I actually spoke with him today. I really you know, the way we communicated resonated with me. He was a guy who was kind of a straight shooter. And I was used to my pops being involved with my basketball career, and he kept it straight with me at all times. So I responded to people that were, you know, honest. You know, throughout the recruitment process, and something I try to prepare my kids for is, you know, you're going to be told a bunch of things that you want to hear, and people are going to be telling you, you know, promising you things, and, you know, all that stuff. So just having a coach that was completely honest with me, like, you got to get work on this, but I see you doing this, and I see you, and you know, the opportunity to play right away factored into it too. So, you know, and my mother loved the fact that I was a good academic school. I loved the coach. I liked the fact that I would be going someplace that I knew I was wanted. So it wasn't as hard as a decision as I guess some other people had in their recruitment.
How was life off the court, as far as, you know, your interaction with the student body?
It was different. You know, I'm from Queens Village, and Holy Cross is 92% white institution. So, you know, it's a lot of cultural differences. But, you know, going to Molloy kind of prepared me for that a little bit. There's New England is a different look than New York. People's accents, the way, you know, the type of fans
and bad, right? They be like, God. I went to Maine Central, so I got the whole thing, so, man. Yeah, early.
Yeah, you know, New England is a different place.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed my time there. You know, I made some really cool relationships with these people, with my classmates. So, you know, once I was there for like a couple of months, I got adjusted.
So let's go back onto the court, right? Freshman year, you come in. How is things working out for you?
Like, not good. I mean, let me not say not good. I was on a great team. We were, I think, one of the best mid-major teams in the country at the time. Me personally, I struggled with the transition. And, you know, I have a kid that's playing at Wagner right now, and I talk to him pretty often, and he's kind of going through things that are similar. And, like, you know,
don't mention it to me. They just beat my school, Fairleigh Dickinson. So salute to Wagner, man. So salute to Wagner. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so you know, initially it was tough. You know, you realize there's a different upper body strength at this level, the speed of the game, the discipline. But by the end of the year, I got adjusted to the system. I got adjusted to the speed of the game. So it was a long, hard year. But by the end of the year, personally, I felt comfortable, and I was obviously happy that we won so many games.
Look, a lot of our guys from New York, we don't go to the weight room, right? we want to go into college with the body that we have in high school and think that transition is going to be easy. And then when we get to college, we playing against grown men, dudes who are more physically, you know, adapt to college ball than what we are. And we have that transition. And I think kids need to understand that. Every level you go on, there's going to be a transition. You know, I have my guy Terrence Wrench up here, and he talked about his transition, being Mr. Basketball, then going to Texas and being Texas' leading scorer, but then get to the NBA and got to start all over again, and it was very difficult for him. Like, you got to start over from scratch.
Yeah, everybody is the man where they came from at the next level. So, I mean, there's no special treatment. You got to earn everything you get. And I know, you know, I'm actually thankful, you know, as you go through those experiences and you continue on your career, you're thankful for them. You're thankful for having to work through those things and work through those insecurities or whatever the case may be. I think sometimes now kids kind of run away from that stuff.
Yep.
But it's important if you want to have, you know, a real long career to be able to fight through those things.
Yeah, because I know you had challenges all along the way, but the numbers you was putting up, you know, 1,000+, you know, score in your career, 222 3-pointers made, 308 assists. When did things start to kick in for you? That you know, you said, you know, I kind of got this now.
Well, by the end of my freshman year, when we made it to, we were in a Patriot League tournament, the 3 playoff games that we had. I made the all tournament team as a freshman. And previous to then, I wasn't having a really good season. But just having that type of ending to the year, having the trust of your teammates as a freshman is another thing that's big. I was playing with the player of the year. I was playing with Dwyane Wade, who's my assistant on our staff now, who's a preseason player of the year and 3-time champion, Hall of Famer himself. So I was playing for a lot of really good players. And, for them to trust a freshman in those circumstances was enough for me to feel confident. And so at the end of my freshman year, and definitely going into my sophomore year, when my role expanded, I felt really comfortable and I felt like I could play like myself.
What was the game that stood out for everybody during that all tournament time that you had? What was the game that stood out for you that propelled you to be all tournament as a freshman? That rarely happens.
Yeah, I think it was the championship game. I had I don't know if it was 15 points or 13 points in 15 minutes or something like that. And I made some big plays in the game. They're impactful plays. You know what I'm saying? And that really, in terms of my confidence, really propelled me for the rest of my college career.
Nice. So let's talk about the last 2 years coming up and give me some more of those standout games that you had, right? That junior and senior year. And then we're going to get to a real difficult question that a lot of guys have a problem answering, but I'm going to ask you next after you answer the question about your junior and senior year, those games that stood out.
Games that stand out, well, beating Notre Dame at Notre Dame in the NIT was a game that was really special. That was the first, okay, nice. That's yours?
Yes.
Who'd you play in the NIT?
We played Siena. I played at Fairleigh Dickinson.
Okay.
Yeah. Played Siena. Then we played Illinois and a few other schools. But
okay.
We didn't make it to the championship.
Yeah, us either. But we beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame in the first round. That was the first postseason Patriot League victory ever. So that was like a special moment, and I played really well that game. I think I like 26 and 7 or something like that. And then when we beat Tennessee Chattanooga as a senior, that was kind of a special game. So I had 38 points. That was my high yeah. That was my high in college.
Clicking all cylinders.
Yeah, it was a good game.
How many people was at that game?
It was actually in Puerto Rico, so I don't know, because it was a Puerto Rican tournament. That Clemson was there, Mississippi State, a couple other schools I can't remember.
So that's when you caught the eye of the Puerto Rican, community out there when you had that big game.
I think it helped for sure, but I knew that I had the opportunity to play in Puerto Rico at the end of my junior year. Like there were agents from the island and stuff like that were reaching out. But I'm sure that game helped my stock for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right, now, if you can remember, throughout your time in college, who else did you bust to let you know you could go pro?
Oh man, I'm not sure if I used that wording.
Of course, you're on Basketballheadzz. I used it for you.
I had good games against obviously that Notre Dame game was big. They had Chris Thomas at the time, and he was a really hot, he was a really good college basketball player. He was projected to be drafted and all that stuff. So after that game, I felt really good about myself. I don't know. I mean, I'd probably say that would be the biggest one.
Okay. And that's fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Because now you getting into that next level of your career, right? How did the Boston situation work out, and how did you get there?
So yeah, after I graduated, I met with agents and I signed. I signed with one of them, and I had 4 NBA workouts So I work for Denver, Memphis, Boston, and LA. And after that process, the draft happened. I didn't get drafted, and I had 2 camp offers. It was Memphis and Boston, and we just evaluating the situations. And at that time, this was before the trade, and they were looking for a guard. So I thought Boston would be, the best opportunity if I had a chance to make an NBA. As soon as I landed in camp, they signed Sebastian, they signed Rondo, and so we were all playing. They signed Allen Ray, who's a friend of mine. So as we got into camp, a lot of the guards started flooding in, but that's why we decided to go with the Boston Summer League situation.
How was that experience, man? Because I tell people to put on an NBA uniform, to wear the NBA socks when you are really in the NBA, to be in those locker rooms is an awesome experience. How was your experience, brother?
I enjoyed it. Back in that time, it was really difficult for mid-major guys to get into the league. I think, since that time, a bunch of Patriot League kids. C.J. McCollum's from the Patriot League, a guy named Mike Muscala, and Malcolm Miller. So, but at that time, I didn't know how realistic it was. So the first couple of days, I think I was probably too tentative. But as the camp was going on, I realized, I could play with these guys. It's the same thing. These guys are faster and can jump higher, but it's basketball. And so actually, it didn't jump to summer league. It first started with mini camp. So
Okay.
there was like 30 of us in there. And then, every day you just see more and more guys getting cut, more guys getting cut. And then I didn't know that I had made the summer league roster until the second to last day. And Danny Ainge came down and pulled me over to the side and asked me, if I wanted to stay with them, and that they're going to be signing these players, but they want me to come to summer league and potentially to vet camp based on how summer league goes, or if I want to explore another opportunity. And I decided to stay with Boston. I felt comfortable with the guys, and I thought if the guy has this much confidence in me to place me on a summer league team, they're going to give me a chance to play, and who knows what can happen from there. So,
how big was that? Danny Ainge. I remember him playing for Boston and him pissing me off because how good he was and how much of a problem he was for other teams. And then for him to be the GM and able to talk to you, man, and give you opportunity. Those are just moments, man, that go down in your book as a piece of history, right? Because that process, not a lot of people get to go through.
Yeah, that's true. No, I'm appreciative of it. Definitely appreciative.
No doubt, no doubt. So, you play the summer. How does it go for you? And what adjustments did you have to make on this level?
Well, I mean, I realized early that this was like, in terms of how fast people were, how athletic they were, it's a whole different ballgame. I mean, I was in practice with Gerald Green and Tony Allen and Delonte West and all these guys. So I'm seeing people flying all over the place and like people's feet in my face when they're jumping. So it's a completely different, ball game in terms of how athletic and strong these guys are. But it was just basketball at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But during that process, like I mentioned, they had signed Rondo, who made it clear that he was going to be a really good guard in the league for a long time from the first days of camp. They signed Allen, they signed Sebastian. So I didn't play as much as I would have liked to, but I definitely still enjoyed the experience.
Listen, who would have known players like Steph Curry, Dame Lillard, and Ja Morant will be superstars from mid-major universities?
Right.
And really only one of them is an amazing athlete, right?
Right.
The others, their shooters and their skills is just off the chart, right? So that just changed everything. So I tell kids, it's not where you go when you end up. as long as you have an impact where you are, and then you keep working, and something great may can happen.
Yeah, it's a different time. 100%. You're right. The situation that you go to is more than the name of the school that you get to wear on your chest. That's for sure.
Facts, facts. So you start to, make decisions to go overseas and test the waters out other places, right?
Yeah.
Where was the country that you ended up in Europe, and how did it go for you there?
So actually, when I was at camp in summer league, a bunch of European coaches come to summer league, and I had meetings with a coach from the Philippines, a coach from Poland, and a coach from Belgium, and just having a conversation with the coach from Poland, I felt like he had the best understanding of the type of player that I was. He had done like a lot of research. I feel like he knew me the best, and the situation it was actually a little bit less money than the Belgium situation, but I just felt like I'd be able to start my career off in a situation I feel comfortable. So that's how I ended up in Poland. The team was called Polpak Swieci. So it was the first division in Poland, which is a pretty competitive league. And that's how I ended up there.
Yeah, I had Sam Graham on here. He's a Cardinal H.S Great, St. Bonaventure legend, and a superstar overseas in the Netherlands. And he talked about that, right? He said sometimes guys look at their situation when they get less money and not take the opportunity because it's less money and blow a whole career because of ego, right?
Definitely.
How did that help you along the way and help you extend your career as long as it did, playing pro ball?
That specific year?
Yeah, just let's talk about that specific year, and then we're gonna move on to that 10-year stretch that you had in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, well, so that year, the team that I was on was really young, and I think the coach was going for that type of look, like a college team basically. We only had like one veteran guy, and we were really competitive. We played really well, and I think what the coach, one of his strengths was, being able to put the pieces together and have a team that, he noticed that even though I scored a lot in college, that I like to pass the ball. Like that was the thing I like to do the most. I like to set my teammates up and stuff like that. So he used to put me at the point a lot in the games, which changed my position overseas. I played shooting guard all my college career, but after playing for this guy, I played point guard, and that like increased my marketability, increased my opportunities because a 6'4" shooting guard, you can find that anywhere, but a 6'4" point guard is a lot more marketable. So taking that job my first year out of college really changed my trajectory as a player.
Wow, that's crazy. What up, Bull? Got my guy Booger Smith on here. My guy A-Game Ron Sufran, Miss Pinnock from Positive Direction. Salute. What up, Bronco? What up, fam? Wow, this is dope. So, those opportunities come once in a lifetime, and when you get to change your position, feel comfortable at it, and put yourself in a better situation.
Right.
Because some guys get locked into a position and it doesn't really benefit them. But if you could transition, especially to different positions, and we know it's about finding your niche, which I think you did.
Right.
Now, did you play point guard for the rest of your career?
Yeah, the rest of my career I was at the one. So yeah, and I my father, when I was in high school and stuff like that, he really incentivized me to score. Like he wanted me to score all the time. He wanted me to have that mentality, and I was fortunate enough to be decent enough to do that. But I always liked to be like the cerebral player on the court more. I used to like set games up and have control. Point guards, you can control a game and score 6 points and be the most dominant player on the court. So I like that aspect in the game. So once I got to become a pro and play the way I felt most comfortable, that was like heaven to me.
And when you can make other people better, that makes the whole game just open up to you, especially when you're a scorer, right? Because you could be a scorer and not make anyone better.
Right.
But if you could score and you can make other guys better, man, sky's the limit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how long did you play over in Europe before you moved on?
I played in Europe for 10 years. 10 years I played in Europe. And I would play in Puerto Rico during the summers. So I didn't really have any break. I would just come home for like a week or so.
Wow.
Yeah. That might have cut my career a little short, but either way, that's what I did.
Hey, listen, get it while you can get it, because you never know when it's going to end.
That's a fact.
Wow. So did you stay over in Poland for that stretch, or you went to different places?
So I played in Poland for 1 year, 2 years. So I went to Poland, went to Puerto Rico, and then I went back to Poland 1 more year. And then I went back to Puerto Rico. And then after that, I played 5 years consecutively in Germany.
Mm. How was Germany? How was the life like over there?
I loved it. I loved it. You know, I know you probably had horror stories from people about teams not paying on time and stuff like that. Germany's like the opposite. It's like it's like clockwork. Every month, the money's in there. At that point, I was with my wife and my fam and my daughter. My first daughter was just born. My second daughter was actually born in Germany, but they take care of your family. The health insurance is taken care of. You know, you're really in a situation where all you got to do is concentrate on basketball.
Wow.
So Germany was a blessing. It's probably my favorite place to play.
All right, so I'm gonna tell you a little short story about Germany. And I hope I got the country right. A former Molloy great, Laurent Mapp, right? Laurent Mapp got situated to go overseas. And I want to say it was Germany. Got there, as he's taking off on a plane to go to Germany, they're calling him to tell him that his service aren't needed. So he gets over there, and he's stuck in the airport, I think for a whole day, waiting for somebody to come pick him up.
Yeah.
Wendell Alexis, Syracuse great, Christ the King great, was his connect. So I guess Wendell got him on the phone, and he explained the situation to Wendell Alexis, and he didn't want to come home because he's like, I just told everybody I'm going to play pro basketball overseas.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick this shit out. Right?
Yeah.
Yo. Wendell hooks him up for a small team, less pay. He goes out there, he kills. Not only he kills, he gets a promotion and get to move on to another team and make 3 times what he made that year. But the sacrifice, right?
Absolutely.
Listen, the story is so amazing. People, if y'all haven't checked it out, go to my YouTube page, check out Laurent Mapp's story. It's amazing. His story is so amazing. New York City legend Derek Chivas called me and told me that's one of the best episodes because it talks about, you know, the sacrifice and what you do or what guys have to do just to make it in ball. And some guys aren't willing to go that extra length.
That is a fact. That's a fact. Some of my you know, I have friends who made a lot of money, been really successful, that started off with beginnings like that. And like that's how you know the difference between the kids or the people that love the game and really don't love it. Right? Because it's even when fortunate enough to be making money, good money overseas. It's not a glamorous lifestyle as people think. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of practice. It's a lot of doing stuff you don't want to do and being in situations that are uncomfortable. You're in countries that people don't speak the same language as you. It's you gotta love the game to go far with it. And you gotta put the work in, obviously.
Yeah. Another guest I had on here, Kim Hampton. She played 14 years overseas before she went to the WNBA and came on here and spoke 5 different languages.
Amazing.
How many do you speak, King?
1.5. I speak I speak a little bit of Spanish. I'm Puerto Rican. My mother's Puerto Rican, so I
Okay. So that you got a little cheat code there, right?
Yeah. My oldest daughter did speak German a little bit. I think she's lost it by now. But yeah, I was going to practice in home. I wasn't picking up as many languages as I should have.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good, King. I like to ask the guys that who played overseas and now coming back to the States. Yeah. So when did the coaching bug start to kick in after your career was over?
So honestly, it wasn't even something I like. It was a career that I looked into, like towards the end of my career when I could kind of see the writing on the wall that it was time to transition back home. I did like a bunch of networking, met with like alumni from my school, just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I went through the coaching route. I spoke to college coaches about, and I kind of didn't, at the time, I didn't really like what I heard about what assistant coaches' responsibilities are. It's a lot different than people think. You're not just going out there and coaching kids. You're doing a lot of other stuff that I wasn't really interested in doing at the time. And then, through this process, I was, training to get back overseas. And my friend that I mentioned, Dwyane Wade, his brother was a principal at Eagle. And he mentioned to me, he's like, yo, if you want, you can use the gym to work out. And if you're interested in education, you should talk to my brother. Just get a vibe of the building, see if it's something you'd be interested in. So I did it, and I actually just started, working with kids as a paraprofessional at first, just in the classroom. And I saw like the influence that I could have on some of the kids just because I played ball. You know what I mean? I saw like kids kind of gravitated to me. They wanted to know my story because I played and were interested in hearing about this stuff. And I kind of, I fell in love with that type of work. You know what I'm saying? And using, whatever knowledge I've been able to gain through the game to help kids. And not just the basketball aspect, like the life lessons that you pick up from playing the game for those years. So really quickly in the process, I spoke with the principal, like, if I was to want to do something like this, would there be opportunity here? And he basically said, of course, find out what you want to do, but you're going to coach if you come here. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of how we came into it.
Yeah, I want to go back a little bit and talk about the transitions, right? Because a lot of student athletes, and then, once you move on to play pro ball, how difficult it is to transition back to the real world. Because a lot of people think it's an easy transition. You know what? I play ball and I'm going to come back and get a regular job. And
yeah, it's humbling. You know what I mean? I think, it's very, I have a lot of friends, obviously, a lot of former teammates who really struggle with this. You know what I'm saying? Because their whole identity is wrapped up into the game. And, the reality is when you're overseas and you're playing and you're getting like kind of special treatment to some extent. And then you come home and you kind of, it's not the same. It doesn't matter. You're not anybody that back here. You're just another person walking the streets. So it's a humbling experience because you're starting from the beginning. No matter what career you're choosing to get into, unless you're like an entrepreneur or something like that. If you want to be a policeman, you got to start from the beginning. I went back to get my master's, and I'm around people that are 22 years old. You know what I'm saying? People that knew what their career was and jumped into it. And I was in my mid-30s. So it's humbling, but I was really fortunate because I got into something that I'm passionate about. I got into something that kind of gives me some of the same feelings that I got when I was a player. And, it's really rewarding work when I'm able to help kids, transcend their circumstances and become better basketball players, better young men. So I'm happy with my transition, but it is tough.
Man, so your first coaching gig is at Eagle.
Yes.
Definitely blessed, fam. Definitely blessed.
Absolutely.
Because that don't happen often.
No, I know it doesn't. I know a lot of people that have been trying to get high school or college coaching jobs for a really long time. So, but Eagle, at that point, we weren't even in the AA. This was a team that was in the A division, and I started off as the JV coach, or not even assistant on the JV coach. Coach C.G. McCullen, a player from Christ the King, really good player, was the head coach, and me and Jave we're just helping out. But, you know, as the process went on, it just led up to us eventually taking a varsity, and the varsity moved up to the AA, and now we're here.
Hold on for a second, because, man, I forgot my God name, and I haven't put his name down here. But, guess Mr. Banks' assistant had hit me up and gave me his number, and also gave me the contacts for the coach in the Bronx as well.
Coach Rose.
Right? And he was wondering, did me and you contact? I said, we already made contact already, man. So that family there at Eagle, man, is just a beautiful situation. And again, salute to everybody at Eagle Academy and all the schools.
Yeah, and congratulations to Coach Rose as well. Winning the boroughs in the Bronx. It's the first year. That was historic.
Yeah. So how was it your first couple of years?
Well, you know, it was challenging because we had to establish a culture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know, I without being like overly critical of what I see in general, I just think, you know, we started from a place like, all right, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna teach kids the right way, and it still isn't like us winning games now and being successful. I'm very happy with the guys and very proud of them, and I hope we win the city championship and have more success. But we went through years of losing our best players on our teams year after year just to enforce a level of discipline. You know what I'm saying? Just to put a culture forward that, like, I'm not going to allow you to do things that I know you're not going to be able to do at the next level. And so, like, we've created a culture of discipline and accountability. And so that process took time. So this is my 4th year as the head coach now, the first 2 years. And I'm really proud of the guys who made it through those years. You know what I'm saying? When we moved up to the AA and we struggled in terms of wins and losses, but I think the lessons that they were able to learn through the process is helping them now as young men. It's developing a culture as always takes time, and unfortunate now we have, you know, I have a great coaching staff with me, guys who live by what they say, and kids who buy into what we're saying too. Because, you know, if you don't have those things, it doesn't matter. We're not gonna never establish the culture you need to have.
I was talking to Coach Gustis, the legendary New York City coach, Ted Gustis, yesterday. Had a great conversation with him, and we was just talking about some of the legendary coaches in New York City and what qualifies you to be one of the top coaches. And he said, you know, some of those things, getting kids to buy into a culture, not allowing kids to do what they want to because they're good basketball players, because you're only using the child, right? And establishing that culture to where they buy into what the coach is about, right? Because without establishing the culture and for them to pass down what they're learning to the younger guys, you get pure chaos and you get a program that's disorderly.
Right. For sure.
You know?
But I mean, you also have to have the type of kids that are willing to buy in. It's like, kids don't care that me and half the staff played Division I or professionally or any of that stuff. You know, nowadays, I think some kids understand the benefits of it, but you have to be a special type of kid to understand, like, all right, these are people who've been where we're trying to go, and I'm gonna make the sacrifices necessary to be a good player. So we're really fortunate to have that, and the parents like that support the program right now.
That's very important. You know, it starts at home, and then you guys just an extension of that. You know,
Sure.
So what year did you know that you guys was making progress in the right direction?
I think even from like our first year on the varsity level, I think we only won like 4 games that year, but I mean we were competing with teams that physically we shouldn't have had even been in the same gym as them, and because we were disciplined, because we were playing hard, you know, I say in terms of wins and losses, 2 years ago was the first year that, we started to see the success that we were working towards. But I mean, I felt that we were making progress the minute that we got together as a staff.
Feel that? I feel that. And there was a trying time I know you guys went through because all the schools went through it during the pandemic. How did you guys were able to keep the kids focused and keep your team together during that trying time?
I mean, I think it was difficult for everybody. And I think what we just tried to do is keep them actively engaged and have them in practices and always put them in certain things that we can make sure that they're around the game and not doing anything, outside of that. I mean, it was tough times. We ended up having I don't even know if you consider it a season. We played like 6 games. You know about that last year, right?
Facts. It was disgusting, but that's just me talking. That's just me talking. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, just something for them to be able to look forward to and play through was benefited us. But, I mean, we just try to lock in with the kids, get in the gym as often as we could, and just be there for them any capacity that we could be.
All right. So 2020, one comes and you guys get a full season and now you guys can play. How are you guys feeling and what was like the beginning of the season like up to this point? And we'll get into, the big game that you guys just had.
So I think it kind of started last year, with the guys that we had. Up until last year, we've been a team that's been real disciplined and worked hard and stuff like that, but we haven't necessarily had the talent to compete. And last year we saw that we had the kids that had the talent to compete in this league and bought in. So last year when we had that abbreviated season, I think Brooklyn Collegiate probably would have been the favorite to win it. And we took them at home without our senior who went on to college with a bunch of sophomores to the wire. And I think that gave us as a program a whole lot of confidence coming into this season. And then obviously, we have an addition. We have Eric Acker, who's a Player of the Year candidate, one of the best scorer leaders in our league, who's returned. Trayshawn Shepard, very versatile big. Who I don't even know if you consider him a big. He can play anything.
Yeah.
Jaquil Morris, who's been a dominant big man for us, and the leading rebounder in the league, and then the addition of Todd Smith, a sophomore, who's just like.
So did I have his name wrong? I wrote down Todd Bryant. I saw that.
Yeah, Todd. Well, I mean, he can go by either last name. I think on
Okay.
right now.
I posted that picture up because him holding that trophy in that moment, right? It reminded me of myself in '86, just that moment, us winning the city championship at Lincoln. And when I saw that picture, I was that just said everything, right? Knowing what you guys been through, building a program to where you want to get to, and seeing that, I just thought that was like, the definition of what you guys were about and up to that point. And I know it's not even finished yet, but just to get to that point is major.
No, I like that picture too. I also like it because I know what that kid's gone through to get to that point. And he's made he's made so many leaps for us. He's only a sophomore, but he's a leader for us in a lot of. He's a leader for us in a lot of ways, and he still has room to improve, and he knows that. But he's a clutch kid. He has heart. He plays hard, and he has a really bright future. I'm really happy for him.
Yeah, and Ackers is such a baller, man. He could play with the best of them, man.
Yeah, no, I mean he's the engine that gets us going. I think wherever he signs, whether it's next year or the following year, coach is gonna be really lucky to have him.
Definitely. So I go into achievement first. Watching the games, I watched the Wagner game. That was like down to the wire at one point. And then the graphics game against Will, that was like down to the wire. And then y'all game started off, and I'm like, I'm going to be out of here at halftime. I said, yo, Cam, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. Because my guy's calling me. He was like, yo, G, because we had another event to go to. Salute to my guy, BG. Man. And my phone is ringing. Yo, what's the score? I'm like, yo, these guys haven't scored yet, fam. He called me back again. Yo, they still haven't scored yet, fam. What score? It's 21-zip. They smoking these guys, yo. Like, I'm leaving at halftime. True story.
Right.
I like a good game, coach, as we all do. So, halftime come, my guy called me back. He said, what score, G? I said, yo, these dudes down by 8. They may got something. You know, because this is what I saw. The beginning of the game, I didn't really see any energy. I know I heard that the last time you guys played, they kind of, you know, gave y'all a good whipping. And I'm going, these guys, they coming out with any fire. But as the second quarter comes around, and I'm seeing the gym is getting packed, more people is getting in the gym, and the vibe is changing, and the Eagle Academy family is coming in by the drove, and the energy is changing, and the kids, everything, the coaches, everyone, it just all changed.
Yeah.
How were you, first of all, what was your mindset down 21-zip? What were you thinking, Coach? Let's keep it real, please.
I was thinking, I'm glad this is happening now. We actually, the last time we played them, it was a tie game with 4 seconds left.
Oh, okay. So the rumors on the court and the bleachers was like, yo, the last time they played South Shore, you know.
Yeah, no, they beat us pretty good at their place the first time we played them early in the season. But when we played them
got you.
When we played them at home, we should have went to overtime, but that's a whole different story. I felt like I'm glad this is happening now. Obviously, 21-0 is a little extreme. I wasn't expecting that. But, you know, South Shore is a team that's been in that situation in terms of like being a borough finals and the city championship year after year. They're used to those type of games. This was our first time in that type of environment. And I think we just came out with some jitters. But I was really confident still because we had a great week of practice. And I thought that we were really confident after the last time we played them. And our guys were locked in. I could feel the energy in the gym. We were looking forward to it. We were confident. So once we broke it down to like 11 points or 12, 13 points by the end of the first quarter, I knew we just had to get settled in and that we'd be okay. But I mean, obviously we can't get in the habit of getting down 21-0 again. That can't happen.
That's not a good look at all. But it just showed how you guys never gave up and persevered through the storm. And now you guys are battle tested, right? Because that's what it's about, being battle tested and being in those tough situations to know that if we keep our foot on the gas, anything can happen.
Right. And I think that was a very big, valuable lesson for us to learn. And the way that we were able to overcome that deficit, I think showed our team's resilience. And I think gives us a lot of confidence moving forward.
Yeah, man. What up, Mike Larry? Salute. My God, one of the bad boys of street ball. Salute, my guy. So, I know you guys' confidence is, you know, where it's supposed to be now. And you know, people, word on the street is like, you know, no one looked at the Brooklyn championship as nothing. Everybody look for the city. Let me tell you something. Every championship counts. Every game counts. So I don't want to hear that nonsense about, you know, the Brooklyn championship is just, no, everybody wants to win that. Everybody, and they want to come to the games. And everybody compete. So what you guys accomplished was great, man. And how do you feel about your chances moving on? Because it's next week, it's time to roll.
I feel good. I mean, you know, this time of the year, every team is a quality team. You know, I'm fortunate. I think we're fortunate to play in the AA, which in my opinion is one of the most, if not the most competitive leagues in the city. So we've been playing against good competition every single night.
Facts.
But you know, it's a separate challenge now. We overcame that deficit, and like you said, you know, I'm really proud of our guys. We did win a championship, and that's something that's these guys should celebrate and be happy about. But our goal coming into the season was not to win the boroughs; it was to win the city championship. So I think our guys are focused. This gave us some confidence. But you know, we still have to come out with a sense of urgency every night and get the job done.
Let me tell you something, Coach. I'm a proud winner of the 1986 City Championship, Abraham Lincoln. We kind of set it off for that whole dynasty there, so I'm very
Nice.
proud of that. But when I always talk to coaches, when I talk to my guys, even the Kenny Andersons, the Ross Stricklands, all these guys who have won it at a higher level, especially here in the city, they always put the city over the state. I rarely hear guys saying, you know, we're trying to win a state championship. And dudes always like, listen, we win a city championship, we in the city. Like, what is it about that? You know?
I don't know, man. I unfortunately never got to win one of those, so I can't speak to it. But you know, being able to crown yourself the king of New York, I guess. You know what I'm saying? That means something. Guys, you know, for me, having you know, my career and stuff like that, when I look back at those things, I realize how special they are because of the experiences that you're able to have. And that's really what I want most for the kids, more than any hood bragging rights or anything like that, is, you know, accomplish something special with your brothers. So I think we're locked in. We're excited about it, but we got to go out and do the work. So we'll see how it goes.
All right, Coach. Last question before we get into our top five, right?
All right, yeah.
If you had to do it all over again, what would you change?
Like with my career?
Anything that part of your career. Yep. Just dealing with you.
I don't know. That's tough. I mean, even the things that have didn't go well in my career, whether it was a situation or whatever the case may be, I felt like I was able to learn from it. So I think I benefited from all the experiences. I can't really say that I would change anything for real. Maybe if I got to NBA, more millions of dollars or something like that, I could change that. But other than that, I'm content.
That changes everything.
Yeah.
For sure. So now we get into the toughest part of the show, and this is the top five. All right, Coach?
Yeah.
Listen, you're in the hot seat now. I need to know the top 5 players from your neighborhood.
From Queens Village? Oh man.
Or the surrounding area, because you know you played outside of there as well.
All right. In my time, the surrounding areas, Rashad Bell.
Okay.
In my time, my area.
Told y'all this is the toughest part of the show, fam.
This guy. I'm not. Rashad because of his career. There was a guy that I liked watching called Showtime, Darryl Hill.
Yeah, another friend of the show. Salute to my guy, Showtime, Darryl Hill. That's right.
Yeah, he was older than me, but I remember watching him play and thinking he was pissed.
And those guys count too. The guys who are older than us that we looked up to. Yeah, those guys count too.
Yeah, but see, I'm still thinking around my neighborhood. I can name guys for sure that I looked up to, but from my neighborhood,
yeah,
Rashad, got Showtime, Yuka Agbai, he went to BC.
Okay.
Damn, I'm gonna just Miguel Gonzalez. went to Holy Cross, and then went out to Southern New Hampshire. He's from around my area. And I'm gonna just say myself to wrap this up. Number 5.
Hey, bro, it's all good. It's all good. Top 5 players you played against.
Like name-wise, or like I thought they were good.
I can't answer that. This is the top 5 players you played against. You know, I don't know.
All right, so I'm gonna say D Wade.
Now we talk about Dwyane Wade.
Dwyane Wade, yes.
Yeah, fam. Let the world know you played against some guys that's NBA All-Stars and soon to be Hall of Famers.
Yeah, Dwyane Wade, obviously. Amari Stoudemire.
Woo!
Rondo. There was a guy I'm gonna say a guy that I just felt was difficult to guard. His name was Keith Langford. He went to Kansas, lefty. He was one of the toughest. And then there was a guy named damn. Let me see. And then he was older, but I looked up to him. I would say Hollis Price was a guy that I played against that I had a lot of respect for. So those are 5, I'd say.
No doubt. All right. Top 5 player from Archbishop Molloy.
Kenny Anderson, Kenny Smith, Kevin Joyce. I guess Cole Anthony, right?
He's Archbishop Molloy Great, yeah.
And
you got 2 more.
Kenny Anderson, Kenny Smith, Kevin Joyce.
Cole Anthony, you got one more. You got one more.
I'm gonna go. Man.
Somebody said Shandu McNeil.
Yeah, that's my man. That's K, one of my coaches. Yeah, Shandu. I'll go with Shan too. I'll take Shan.
No doubt, no doubt. I definitely want to have him on the show as well. Shandu's son plays with one of my guys' sons over what's that school in Far Rockaway?
Russ Smith. I'm gonna knock Kevin Joyce off, and I'm gonna put Russ Smith.
Russ Smith. Woo! Yeah. That's tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
That's the wife right there.
Who?
Who's that? Oh no, that's somebody else. Karan.
That's my brother. Yeah.
Okay, your brother. Okay, cool. Yeah. Hey, he keep you on point, man.
Yeah. No, he saved me. I forgot for a second.
No doubt. Last top 5, brother. Remember early on, you mentioned watching Soul in the Hole.
Yeah.
And then my guy Booger Smith popped up in here.
Major influence. Booger Smith.
You know what I mean? What's your top 5 basketball movies all time, including documentaries?
Ooh. Soul in the Hole, for sure, was one I watched all the time. Come Fly With Me.
Woo! Yeah.
I don't know if Above the Rim counts, but that's one of my favorite movies.
Come on, fam. I was in that movie.
You were in that movie?
I was in that movie. I think I got 2 walk-by scenes, right? And it's crazy. They caught me with hair on my head because I couldn't get a haircut. Because when they took pictures of me, they said, you can't change how you look. So I was on the purple team. If you watch the movie, like during the tournament time, I'm walking out of the tunnel when
you was wearing a jersey?
Yeah, I was on the purple team.
You was on the Bombers?
No, I was on the purple team. My purple team wasn't a featured team, but they show flashes of us playing. And then I have another walk-by scene when Dwyane is talking to Tupac.
That's crazy.
So it's crazy, right? So my guy, Barbito, because like after I stopped playing ball, I was in the music industry for a while. And Barbito Garcia, legendary hip-hop DJ, he gave me the plug. Come to find out that my teammate for the Empire State Games is the star of the movie, Dwayne Chick Morton. Martin.
Kyle Watson.
Right, that's my guy. We played on the Empire State team together. Me, him, Derek Chivas, Boo Harvey, Ross Strickland, and a host of others. And also was on that team. Prime Minister Pete Knight from third base was also on that team. And he'll be on the show soon. Right? All these guys.
Yeah,
so
that's a classic.
Oh man, classic. And then my guy, one of my close friends, Easy Mo B, he's producing Tupac at this time.
Wow. That's
so
crazy.
Yeah, crazy whirlwind, man. Crazy whirlwind.
Yeah, that's crazy. You know, what's funny is a kid walked into film with his headphones on last week, and I said, I made a comment to him, you think you're Kyle Watson or something? He had no idea what I was talking about. But yeah, that's one of my favorites. What's
And
that,
I think I got two more.
I like that Magic vs. Bird documentary. I thought that was dope.
Yeah, that was dope.
I'm trying to think what the last one was.
And I'm glad you're not looking at the screen, because most guys, when we get to this point, guys be looking at the screen knowing people going to be typing those answers up there. So this is good.
I'm going to go, what's the joint that Denzel was? He Got Game. I'm going to go He Got Game.
He Got Game, definitely. Representing that Abraham Lincoln for sure. Look, what about Blue Chips? You like Blue Chips?
I did. I forgot about that one.
Blue Chips. Listen, for you youngsters, if you want to get an insight of how college basketball, some colleges are, and a lot of them were back in the days, watch Blue Chips. He give you a lot of, a good insight.
Yeah.
And then one I will share with you. Two, a movie from back in the days, Cornbread Earl and Me, and The Fist That Saved Pittsburgh.
Okay. I've seen Cornbread Earl and Me. I didn't really think that was that much of a basketball movie, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It had Jamal Wilkes in it, so we all kind of put that in that vibe. You know, it's a tragic movie, but The Fist That Saved Pittsburgh was definitely fun to watch, starring Dr. J.
I'm gonna check that out.
Listen, King, I'm glad you was able to come on the show. I know you got a lot to prepare for, and I wish you all the luck, man. I'm gonna be rooting for you guys to pull off another miracle and maybe get a city and state championship while you at it.
I appreciate that, man. Thanks again.
No doubt. Salute. All right. Thank you for joining us. For those of you who didn't already do so, please go subscribe to the YouTube page. And it's crazy, right? We got another Molloy great. That's Bobby Moran. Played at Molloy, played at Berkshire Prep School, then went on to star at Boston College. So look at that. The vibe is right. Listen, as we make this journey through basketball, sometimes a lot of us guys in New York City find it tough to have the right guidance and the people that's going to guide us through these situations. Luckily for my guy, Kev Hamilton, he had his pops to guide him along the way and steer him in the right direction. Being motivated, he never gave up, even when the odds was against him. Sometimes the deck stacked against him. He made it through. He made a situation where he wasn't getting paid that much, but he respected the opportunity. And what did he do? He turned that to roses, baby. A 10-year pro career. Not most guys can say that. And then afterwards, the transition, which a lot of us have a problem doing after basketball. He was blessed enough to land at a school that takes care of its own, and that's Eagle Academy. He found out something that he liked to do, and that's helping young men reach their potential. And now he gets to do it on and off the court. So, salute to you, my G, and all your endeavors, and good luck for the remainder of the season. I'm your host, Glenn Pooh Harding, and you've been watching Basketballheadzz, the official home for New York City basketball. Peace.